I'm George Flynn. You're watching In-Depth TV, and today I've got a guest that is a longtime friend. Notice I didn't say an old friend. Tom ZEEB, and Tom and I have known each other for years, and he is always doing something different, as we say. He knows how to bring his energy to a project and just absolutely knocks it out of the park. Tom, welcome to Memphis again.
Thanks, George. Thanks for having me.
Tell us where you're living now, and tell us what you've been doing now. And I'm catching up with him just as much as you are, because we've had him on before, but we've had a lot of comments on the show that we did. And let's hear what you've been doing lately.
Fantastic. Well, I live in Washington, D.C. I'm originally from Buffalo, New York, but I teach real estate investing all across the country.
Okay. Real estate, does that mean buying a house?
It can be buying. I teach a specific technique called wholesaling, or flipping houses.
Okay.
But not fixing them up and flipping them, literally putting them under contract and then flipping the contract.
Oh, so you don't do anything except you don't sit there and hammer nails and
No,
everything.
I'm no good at that.
How do you do that?
It's a matter of marketing, and it's a matter of negotiation. So I market for distressed properties and distressed sellers, and then I help them out of their situations, negotiate a good deal, put it under contract, and then instead of buying it myself, and instead of fixing it up myself, or instead of keeping it as a rental myself, I look around for other investors that I know, and I sell my contract to them. I sell my position in the contract to them. They pay me a fee, because for them it's really easy to take that deal over, and they love it because they don't have to do the marketing and negotiation. They just get to do the part they're good at, which is fix the property up or become a landlord.
Now, how did you come up with this principle where it's less work than usual?
I didn't invent it, to be fair, but when I was dead broke and I was struggling and I had a really bad experience. My first deal, I attempted to buy a multi-unit building, and it didn't go very well at all. And then I thought I was going to do some renovating, some rehabbing, and that didn't go very well at all. And then I realized I could just sell the contract to somebody else in my local area, because for anyone's local area, who would want to fix it up or be a landlord. And I said, well, now that fits me perfectly. It's quick, it's in, it's out, it's great money, and as long as I can keep flow at that is good. And so I keep an active amount of marketing going out. I've become a great negotiator over time, and those are the key skills, and those happen to be skills I enjoy.
I guess the real skill is in buying.
Yeah.
Buy right.
Get it under contract right.
Get it under contract.
I'm never actually.
You never really buy it.
No, I never buy it.
So you get it under contract. Do you have a down payment or a escrow agreement, or I'm using terms I really don't know?
No problem. Yes to a down payment. I legally have to have something down. I use a whopping $100. $100 is enough to legally bind the contract. My sellers aren't worried about that because it's a cash offer. We're going to close it in 10 days or about as soon as the title work is done, as long as they don't have any issues. So they're not interested in the down payment. They're interested in having the problem solved. And my buyers, I have a list of buyers. They're cash buyers. So there's no credit involved. It doesn't take a long amount of time. So the down payment's not a problem. So it's perfect. Either if you're just starting off in real estate investing, like something you've seen and you want to get into, or even if you're intermediate and advanced and you just need to find ways of having more sources to have deal flow.
Okay. Now you have, and you gave me a copy of this, you have written a book.
I have.
And this is your book, and this is, you've put a lot of your effort into this. Where in the world did you come up with? These are it looks like a lot of examples.
Yeah, I broke down. The title of the book is called "How to Correctly Flip Houses for Profit." Okay, with the fastest way to.
Yeah, everybody sees these commercials on TV about flip houses.
Yes.
Buy them, flip them, do this kind of thing. But this says how to correctly, the fastest way to more deals, more profits, and more freedom. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Now, very, very appropriately, you have a house
an upside down house,
yeah.
Of course. So it depends which way you hold the book.
Right.
The reason I called it that is, I know a lot of people want to flip houses. It's popular from various TV shows, different books. It's out there.
Yeah.
But I don't see everyone doing it correctly. So correctly is the operative word in that title, how to correctly flip houses for profit. And when investors do it wrong or do it incorrectly, that can create issues. It could cause a problem for the motivated seller. That's a person, I mean, they're motivated because they're in trouble. So if you screw around and do something wrong, you can hurt them as much as hurt yourself and hurt the entire industry, because certain state legislators don't take very kindly to the evil investors out there doing things wrong. So I want people to do it right from the beginning, and then there's no need that bad laws would ever get passed and whatnot, and you'll sleep easy at night knowing you did it and did it right.
Okay, so you basically, the system is you find a property. How do you find them first?
A lot of different ways. Let's take a few examples. One of my all-time favorites are out-of-state absentee owners. So that's a property in your local area, but the person who owns it doesn't even reside in your state.
Okay.
They reside somewhere far away. And you send them a letter or postcard, and sometimes there's a problem with the property where you are. Other times it's actually a problem with that person and their life off wherever they are. And they decide to sell the property back where you are because it solves their problem far away.
How do you know who these people are?
That's the interesting thing. So if you look up a property in the tax records, and most tax records these days are online, so it's easy to find.
Right.
Let's say the property was 123 Main Street, Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay.
That's the property address. There's another address in the tax record, and it's called the tax owner's mailing address. That's where the tax bill is being mailed to.
Right.
If that's also 123 Main Street, Memphis, Tennessee, well, then the tax bill is going to the actual property that's owner-occupied. Now, on the other hand, in a non-owner occupied and an absentee owner, specifically an out-of-state absentee owner, we'd have the property address of 123 Main Street, Memphis, Tennessee, but maybe the tax bill is going to 456 Elm Street, Dallas, Texas, or somewhere in Florida, or somewhere in California, somewhere far away. And now we know, okay, that's not owner-occupied. So I research those, I pull that data, and I have a specific postcard that I send to people that are out of state. That's just one example.
It's a postcard.
It's a postcard.
How do you research that? I mean, physically, or do you have some kind of proprietary program?
No, the records are public. They're public access, which is quite good. You can access them through a multiple listing service. You can access it sometimes on the various county or city websites. Other times you might have to show up at the county records division or the county courthouse and ask for a Freedom of Information Act request and ask for the data download. And then you just sort it out on your own.
Okay.
Most of the time I don't pay anything for that data because it's public.
Yeah. So you get the data, you find the out-of-state owners, you send them a postcard. What does the postcard say?
Oh, postcard
Hey,
says,
you want to sell your property?
Yeah, do you want to sell your property? Are you tired of remote management? Are you tired of tenants and toilets? Do you have an issue? Basically, I try to think like them. If I was out-of-state absentee owner, what would my itch be? And then my job as a good marketer is to scratch it. I think, what buttons do they have? My job as a good marketer is to push those buttons.
Tired of getting the phone calls about it.
Yeah. Tired of getting phone calls middle of the night. Did something happen? Could you use the money from this property? Are you never moving back? Is it too? If you're not raised rents for a while, there's a lot of different issues that come up.
And about, roughly what percent of people will respond to that?
See, now that's the interesting thing. And the response rate is what actually probably discourages a lot of people from the business. George, it's about 1%.
That's pretty good. That's better than direct mail.
Maybe, which, about 0.5% to 1%.
Yeah.
But think about what that means. For every 100 you send, 99 of them go right in the trash.
Right.
But only one person responds, and that response might be, they might call you, they might email you, they might just check out your website and see who you are. And so 1% takes some action. And then you have to churn through enough of those so that you have enough bad leads to get the good leads.
Right. And so then you get a good lead, say. You've gone through everything to get to that one good lead. What do you call them up? Do you go see them, or what?
I try to trigger them to call me, right, as a screening technique, so I don't have to go see everything or talk to everyone. I want them to call me if I've hit the right buttons and scratched the right itch. When they call, then I start the process of talking to them. Which I go through a lot in the book about pinpointing their problem. I want to drill down, figure out what it is that's wrong in their life, what's wrong with the property, what do they need fixed, because then that helps me package up a solution that would work for them. And then it's my job to use my good negotiation skills to persuade them to say yes to the package that addresses their issues.
Okay, so they may have a property, say it's worth, let's just take a low number, $1,000. What do you offer them for it? I mean, do you offer them like $800 for the?
It would depend.
Or-
So
yeah.
it depends on the area. You know, if a $1,000 property, which is very low,
Right.
even for
I'm
low
just-
areas. Yeah, let's say 100,000. You know, if it's a $100,000 property, I'm probably offering. I mean, my starting offer is going to be a lot lower. I would probably go as high as about 65 to 70,000. So 65 to 70% minus the repair cost. That's
Okay.
what my buyers want to buy at, and then I need to have a little bit. I need to have a little bit less than that, so that I have a wholesale fee. I have an assignment fee. I have some profit for me.
Okay. When you purchase it,
Mm-hmm.
how nervous are you when you put a contract on it? How nervous are you, or do you already have the buyers lined up?
I do. I have the buyers lined
I
up.
guess that's the key, is have the buyers lined up.
You know, if you're nervous about the whole thing, then work on developing your buyers list first, because now you have a bunch of hungry buyers asking you, "Hey, Tom, George, give me some more deals," and it can be comforting to know that, and then go out there and actually shop for what they want.
How do you get the buyers?
A lot of different ways.
There's-
Yep, there we go. I advertise for buyers, and honestly, the number one way is most areas, most cities and regions across the country have real estate investors associations,
Okay.
RIA groups, and I go to the RIA groups, and there are active investors, some who want to rehab houses, fix
Right.
them up and resell them, some who want to hold on to them as landlords, and I meet those people, I collect their information, and they're my cash buyers list.
So, and then you'll present them a deal.
Yep.
Okay, let's go to the worst case.
Uh-huh.
What happens if you don't find a buyer?
If
What do
I
you do?
can't find a buyer, the first thing I do is look and see, what did I screw up? So I must have done something wrong. Some of my numbers must
Right.
be off. So if maybe I messed up the repair estimate, maybe I messed up my idea of the value of the property once it's all fixed up, and if I see what that is, I go to the buyers that did look at it but told me no, and I say, what would you give me? And I look to see if they're clustering around a certain price.
Right.
If so, then I know I need to renegotiate and get lower than that. And so I would try to renegotiate to save it. If I can't, then I cancel out. And
You lose your $100.
no.
You don't?
No, I've worked hard with two of my attorneys to really develop a solid contract that protects me and protects me right and protects my students' rights. So you don't even lose the $100. All you've really lost is the time.
Is the time.
You can chalk that up to a learning.
Okay. Tom,
Yeah.
I appreciate you telling us this. And you have written a book.
Uh-huh.
How do they contact you? How do they get this book and start, learn something about it so that they can be intelligent when they talk to you?
Fantastic. Well, you can go to my website. It's tomzeeb.com. That's Z as in zebra.
ZEEB.
EEB as in
We'll
boy.
have it at the bottom of the
Sounds good,
screen.
because it's sometimes hard to spell. The book, you can link to the book from there. The book's available on Amazon. You can buy it in hard copy, or you can download it on Kindle. And I encourage you to do it. I put a lot in the book, George. Actually, a couple of my boot camp students looked at me funny and said, when they read the book, and said, "You put a lot in there. We
You're
thought
right.
we paid big money for that,
Right.
and now you put it in a book." I said, "It's all right, guys. I always want people to get a lot of value from what I do. So there's a lot of value in that book, particularly on negotiating. And even if you don't want to go into real estate investing, you'll get a lot out of the negotiation lessons in that book."
Somebody I knew once said, if you want to keep a secret,
Uh-huh.
put it in a book. Put it in a book. And there are a lot of secrets in
the
here.
book, there are.
A lot of investing, so just like your students said, they're in here.
Yeah, it's in there.
And all you got to do is get the book, read it, and understand it, and then probably they'll be contacting you.
There we go. It's a super affordable way of getting
I mean, do you once they've read this and get up to date on it, do you talk to people by phone? And
I sure can.
Yeah.
When you go to the website, there's some other gifts available on the website. There's some other marketing techniques. There's a lot of video trainings. There's an entire podcast series as well that is also just chock full of great information, great interviews with many of my successful students. It's a whole training by me as well on there. So you go to the website. If you enter in your email address, you'll get a lot of communications from me, and then we can get to know each other. And if it's something that works, we can move ahead. If not, that's okay too.
Tom, it is certainly good to see you again. Tom ZEEB,